So today I'm going to talk to you all about how you can take your existing content. So this is the blogs that you've already written. And I would say most people who are tuning in have been in business for a while and would have some existing content that you've got up there on your website, or you've got sitting in a Dropbox or a cloud somewhere thinking, I'm going to do something with that one day. Or maybe you've just started out in business and you're thinking, oh my God, how do I show up, especially during the Corona crazy train times, and be able to make my mark, to be able to rise above. There's just so much going on in social media and online at the moment. Everyone's pivoting, everybody's changing, everyone's adapting, everyone's trying to find a new normal. And I believe, this is what I believe, it may not be true, that there are a lot of people out there are one-shot ponies. I don't even think that's the right term, but anyway, it's my term. And they will slowly disappear. And those who are persistent and consistent with their messaging, consistent with their posting and putting out their ways to help people, like now's not a good time to go and launch a brand new program and be asking for $3,000 or $4,000 for it. Now's the time to go, how can I serve? Because we're all pretty much sole traders or small businesses. There's not a lot out there for us from the government. And if we want to get out the other end, we're going to have to help each other to do that. Now, we may not be able to do that by giving money to each other, because chances, I know my business, the PR aspect of the Audacious Agency, took a big punch to the guts last week. And, you know, I'm down to the number of clients I can count on one hand, especially if I had two fingers amputated. So, you know, like my income is severely diminished, but there's a way that I can still continue to give, because like, I'm a big believer in the law of reciprocity. I think that the more we show up and we help people, the more we'll find 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 12 months down the track, people remember that, and there'll be some loyalty and some trust that you've established, as long as you're not doing it for that reason. But that explains why you're seeing a lot of people who are just giving and giving and giving. But, you know, Lauren and I have always given, so this is not unusual for us. We're probably just doing it a little bit more. So let's talk about the power of repurposing, recycling, reusing, whatever you want to call it. You have got content that you've created that you can now go and turn into a wealth of content that you can share across multiple platforms. And I say that you can do 40 pieces of content in 4 hours. That's head down, bums up. That's not like, you know, stopping to watch, you know, Suits reruns on Netflix, or, you know, fluffing around. That's being very deliberate and very considered about what you're doing. And you'll be surprised at, once you get into the flow of it, how quickly you can have content coming out of your computer. So why is content so important? You know, I may be teaching you how to suck eggs here, but, you know, it's important because it helps you promote your expertise and your skills and your experience. You know, it's a way for you to stand out and to showcase what it is that you do in a very non-salesy type of way. Now, while I use the word promotion, I don't mean like going, hey, look at me, I'm amazing. It's more about, hey, I've got this knowledge, I've got these skills, I've got these insights, and here's some information that may help you. It may help you make a decision. It may help you choose what path you want to go down. It might help you come up with something to make a difference in your business and in other people's business. It's also about relationships. You know, they say content is king or queen, or whatever gender you want to use for royalty there. But we do business with people we know, like, and trust. And we do business with people. And while we're building our brand, it comes back at the end of the day, we are our brand. If you're a small business and you don't have the backing is a new word, the backing of a marketing department or an admin department or a finance department, or, you know, all of that stuff that we had for those who worked in corporate, it's just you, then you are the magic in your business, and people are going to be looking to you for guidance, for support, for leadership, whatever that is through the coronavirus. And this is a time where you can really nurture and build on your relationships that you've already established and how to develop new ones. There's lots of opportunities out there to make those connections. So Janice has asked a question. So what if the content is away from what I do? Well, then you're going to have to write some new content, Janice. Yeah, I knew you'd say that. It's like, oh, really? Got to do more work. But I'm going to give you a few tips at the end on how to come up with some content ideas. It's a little exercise that you can go and do that was shared to me, with me, from an amazing marketing lady in the US. And she does this for her clients. She's actually built an incredible tool for it, but this will get you started. So what you'll come out at the end of this session will be content with context. I like that. Is some topics that you can write about. So I'll give you some ideas on how you can come up with those topics if you need to start writing your own content. What to focus on so you're not chasing bright, shiny objects, because I think it'll be really easy to do that right now because everybody's got a solution. And I'm not saying mine's the be-all and end-all. Mine's just how can you use stuff you've already got or that you can create relatively easily while we're all in lockdown. How to find the time. I don't think that, too many of us will have a problem with that right now because, if you're like me, you've lost a stack of clients, you may have a little bit more time than you thought you would last week. My calendar has never been so empty. Some handy tools to use and how to get maximum exposure for the content that you've got. So coming up with ideas is quite often the hurdle that most people face. And this incredible marketing lady I spoke to the other day, this is how she comes up with topics. She goes into Quora, Quora. I need Lauren here to be taking notes. Quora. And it's a place where people go to ask questions and find answers. And you can go in there and search for topics that are trending. So you put in your keywords. I might put in PR or storytelling or media release writing, and go and have a look through and see what type of questions people are asking, particularly the ones that are being asked over and over and over again. That's a really cool way to come up with some topics because quite often they're writing the headline for you. How do I write a media release? And you've got, you found, 1,000 people have asked the same question for that. You can go and ask that question too. There's nothing that can stop you pulling those ideas and using them. You're not copying anything, you're just getting inspiration. Another way to come up with great ideas is to set up Google Alerts. Google Alerts. It'll tell you how to do it. It's really simple. And then put your keywords in. So, for me, it's media releases, public relations, business marketing, small business. And then in your inbox every morning about 6 o'clock, I think you can set the time, is you will get stories and articles that Google have found by exploring the World Wide Web for those topics that are pertinent to your business. And you can go through those and, one, come up with ideas, but two, it's also an opportunity to see what's not being said around your area of expertise. You might read an article and go, actually, they didn't touch on that. I'm going to write a piece about that. So you've got those opportunities to tap into as well. So here's some of my ways that when I'm sitting down with someone, I'm going, okay, so what are you going to write about? Is I'll say to them, what are the questions that you're frequently asked about what you do? So brainstorm those out, and let's say you come up with 10, 15, there's 10, 15 articles that you can write. Now, these articles don't have to be War and Peace. Good blogs about 350, 400 words, lovely subheadings, makes, lots of space to give people, a place to move through the content without getting overwhelmed by big chunks of text. And and I just totally forgot what I was saying. So funny. Frequently asked questions. And then write a piece about each of those. So, 350-word article takes people about 3 minutes to read. So, you can have that bite-sized chunk of content that you can be putting up on your website and many other places. I did a webinar last week on how to be a media magnet. If you watch that, I give you some tips on how you can get your content out there from a PR perspective through the media and through third-party sites. The next way to find story ideas is, what are the problems that you solve? How do you make life easier for your clients or your customers? Sit and brainstorm those as well. Chances are you'll come up with another 10 to 15 ideas, and out of those you can create, how-to articles, listicle articles. So, the 7 steps to, and do 1, 2, 3, 4, or the top 5 secrets or the top 5 insights. Those are the articles that get a lot of click through. You can link it to key events. So right now, we've got the biggest key event that any of us have ever experienced en masse globally. So people are looking for ways to work through whatever it is that they're facing. So if you have a think about what your expertise and what your skill set, your superpower is what topics can you come up with that will help people with that? Perhaps you're a nutritionist. What food can people be eating? What can they go to their pantry and pull out and make food for the next 6 weeks without having to go to the supermarket? Or perhaps you're a bookkeeper. What type of things can people be putting in place to better manage their cash flow, or to, chase invoices that may or may not be paid because people are out of business? So just have a think of how you can link what it is that you do with current events. In saying that, we're going to come through this. The virus is going to burn itself out, or more people get sick, but we'll get through it. We always do. The flu season comes and it goes. This will come and it'll go. I don't know. Nobody knows how long it'll be, but we're going to come into a phase of recovery, and chances are the media will tell you every which way but someday. So keep your finger on the pulse, because there's lots of other opportunities to write content around key events. I've got Mother's Day coming up, the end of financial year. That's going to be a challenge for a lot of people. How can you help them through that? We've got, what else have we got? Anzac Day, we've got Easter, Father's Day, all of those international, national and local key events that happen. And if you want to find more of those, there's a resource online called, I'm going to put it in the chat, our community. I don't have my glasses, so I don't know if I've spelt it right. .com.au. I think it's .com.au, or it might be .org.au. If I'm wrong, then just try the .org.au. And it's got a list of every key event from January through to December, from the ones that you go, oh yeah, I know about those, to the wild and wacky. And there's a really good place to go and get some ideas for articles. You can link it to a current news story. So use Google Alerts. Something will come in around what it is that you do, an article someone's written, and you can tap into that. Or share an observation, a case study, an insight. It may even have nothing to do with what you do, but it gives people an opportunity to get to know you. So now this is where the rubber hits the road, and I'm going to just focus on 4 pieces of content. So most of us will be writing anywhere from 1 to 4 blogs a month. 1 a week's ideal, just to keep that, interest churning, help you with your SEO, help you with engagement. So I'm going to start with 4 because on average, that's what many people do. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to commit. So I'm going to sound a bit mummy here, but you're going to leave this webinar and go, hey, that was really good information. Good on you, Annette. And you're going to go, that's great. And then not do it. You know, I've done enough webinars and enough workshops to know the number of people who come through and go, that was great, I learnt so much, and then never do anything with it. Commit. Don't make an excuse why you can't do it. Right now, yep, we're all a little bit overwhelmed and a bit shell-shocked, but we're going to come through this, and now's a really great time for you to ramp up whatever marketing that you're doing in this way. So stop making excuses. Put down that cocktail and schedule some time. Find some time to put 4 hours into your diary and go, you know what, on Friday afternoon after lunch, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to smash this out, because then it'll be done. And when you tick something off your to-do list, it feels really, really good. It actually releases chemicals into your body that make you feel good. I know every morning I sit down and do my to-do list and, you know, cross off the really easy stuff, so I feel like I've accomplished something for the day. Okay, so here we go. 40 pieces of content in 4 hours. Now, I'm not going to do this in 4 hours because that'd be exciting viewing. So the first thing that you can do is turn your blogs into social media content. So I use Canva. It's grown in popularity over the years. I remember when it first came out, it was like, oh my God, this is a godsend. There is another one called Easel, which provides you with templates. Di says she creates her own images. That is what it, yeah, that does take time. What do you mean by create your own images, Di? You take your own photos? You can answer that and I'll keep going. So this is how I do it. So I've got examples here so you can see practically what I do. So this is a blog I wrote for someone on the benefits of creating a budget. So what I did from this particular, now when I say that you can create 40 pieces of content, you can actually create a lot more, but let's stick with the 40 pieces. So this particular blog is the benefits of creating a budget. So what I did was, you know, I went into Canva, I found some images that went with each of the key points. So you can see there was actually 10 key points for this. And I did an introductory slide, and just to give some context to, this is what we're going to post for the next week. And then for each point, I created a slide with a summary and then wrote, just cut and paste the exact words from the blog into the social media post. So from this one blog, I created 10 pieces of Facebook posts. So that's over a week, almost a week and a half of content just from one blog. Now imagine if you had 4, where you've got, you know, 7 ways to do this or 5 ways to do that. Each of those key points in your blog is a social media post that you can use for Facebook, that you can use for LinkedIn, that you can use for Twitter, that you can use for Instagram. So if you're across all of those platforms, you've now increased the reachability of your audience, but also given them awesome, great content to tap into. Well, Di's just said sometimes she uses, and the words, I get carried away in Canva. This is where discipline comes in. If you go, I'm going in here to repurpose my content, that's all I'm doing. And I think there's also that challenge of striving for perfection is, you know, like I love Stephen Hawking, and he actually said there's no such thing as perfection, is that we can strive to create and put things out there that are professional and you know, is error-free, but there is no such thing as perfect. And if you labour too long over getting things just right, and I know that's really hard for the perfectionists. I am not one. I am bam, 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 put it out, because the more I put out, the more people I can reach. And if you procrastinate and labour too long over something, you're going to get annoyed, and it's going to become hard, and then you're going to go, stuff it, I'm going to go watch Lock and Key on Netflix. So don't do that. So out of those 4 blogs, at an average of 350 words, average of 5 social media memes or tiles, you've now created 20 pieces of content. And if you're working with your blog beside you, like I use 2 screens, it does make it a lot easier. So I've got my blog on one side, I've got Canva on the other. I'm just cutting and pasting and pumping them out. And the good thing with Canva is that you can actually create a stream of tiles in that one area without having to go and create a new file every single time. So you can label it and go budget tiles. So you know exactly what they are when it downloads that zip file for you. Oh, I went too far ahead. So the next one is turning your blog into an infographic. So using visual aspect as well, because we have to understand not everybody likes to read or has the time to read or even the inclination to read. So your hard laboured piece of, prose where you've poured your insights into it, they're going to look at that and go, I don't have time for this. So we need to make sure that we accommodate people's different ways of receiving and consuming information. And an infographic is really cool because we take that knowledge and we put it into pictures. So this is the same client. I just pulled all her stuff, and this was understanding your credit score. So I actually learned a lot doing this one. So I went through and I went, okay, what are the key points? I need to go find pictures for each of those and put it into Canva. Now, I probably put far too many words into that, but I thought because it's bright, because it's colourful, and because, I found some like cool little graphics, people may still read that because they'll see the headline, avoiding a negative credit rating. Who wants to do that? How to look good to a bank, and then just I did cut that in half, but it's all one piece. And we used that across on her website. We used it across her social media, and it was a really cool opt-in for her as one of the, the freebies that she offered. So we provided them that and the article and then funneled them into something else. So out of those 4 blogs, same 4 blogs, so you could use the first blog that that I showed you and do exactly the same thing. You can create 4 infographics. There's another 4 pieces of content. So you're now up to 24 pieces of content. That's almost a month's worth of posting that you can do even without adding in little inspirational pieces, touches of humour, a little bit of sales here and there. Lauren and I are big believers in the 30-30-30-10 rule for social media. So 10% is, a bit of fun because, it's okay to laugh. 30% is sales. So that's you selling what it is that you do. 30% is your content, so stuff that you've created, and 30% is curated content that you've gotten from somewhere else. It may be an article of an influencer or someone that you admire that you can share into your social media platforms, or it could be an article that you've read that's just useful and helpful, or a news story or something like that. So it's not you always having to come up with content to post on your platforms. Okay, so the next one is you can turn your blogs into an ebook. So you can do a compilation. So maybe you've been blogging for 12 months. You've got, 52 blogs that you've written. You may need to go back and change the wording slightly, or change the tone, or change the tense, or maybe even change the voice. So you might have written in first person and you might need to change it to third person. So instead of I, we, me, it might be us and them and you. So this is one that I did, that I put up on Amazon, that I really didn't do much marketing for, which I probably will do now. And I'd written a series of blogs about, how to do your own PR. So it ended up being a 10-page booklet, I think I've sold it for like $1, and I called it the PR Ripple Effect. I created the cover on Canva, and I just pulled it all together, PDF'd it, and uploaded it to, or put it in the format for Amazon. But I also use it to give to people, and they go, oh, I'm really struggling with PR. What can I do? And I go, oh, I've actually got something that will help you with you each step of the way on how you can do your own PR. So there you go. That was, I think, 5 blogs. Here's my lovely cover. 5 blogs. I use 5 blogs, 4 blogs, 1 ebook, 1 piece of content. There's 25. But if you've been doing that for a year, you could have 12 ebooks that you could be putting out there on different levels of what it is that you do, different, you know, you could segment the content that you've written about. You may have one, you know, about this particular problem, and then have another one about that particular problem, and then have a series. And who knows, you may even end up with a book, a whole book, a big book. Okay, the next one is turning your blog into an article. Now, a lot of people call blogs articles. I'm old school, so like I'm a journalist, so I've written articles for newspapers, and for me it has a different meaning. For you, it may also have a different meaning. But I call, you know, typically a blog is where you've written from first person about your experience or your insights, and it's very informal, and you know it's a little bit more descriptive and engaging than perhaps what an article. An article is typically, for me, a delivery of facts and information. But if you can turn your blog into an article, look at maybe something. If you're using this for media, I'm using my arms a lot here. I don't know if you can see me. I think I'm part Italian. You can use a blog that you wrote 2 years ago that's still relevant because it's evergreen content, and go and pitch that to an online publication. Lauren and I are working on it at the moment, putting out a spreadsheet. We've collated 3,000 online publications that take third-party content. So you write the content, you give it to them, or they give you access to their website, their back end, and you're able to upload it. They still review it and approve it, but you have the opportunity to then expand your audience exponentially using someone else's platform. And if it's a platform that's got high domain authority and, you know, a lot of readers, then that's seriously cool from a backlink perspective and from a credibility building perspective. So one that is really good is Thrive Global. That's Ariana Huffington from Huffington Post. That's her platform that she's created. Go and check it out. You can go and apply to be a contributor and go and check out the content and look for something that you've written in the last 12 months that maybe not, you know, widely circulated, because a lot of them do want unique content, or you have to repurpose it and change it enough that at least 30% of it's different headline, change your intro, move things around a little bit so the content looks different. So this is how I do this. So this was a blog that I wrote for a client, and she was about empowering women financially. So we were able to do lots of there's a bit of a theme through this. I've used the same client. So there's a bit of a theme through this where we were writing financial stuff, but she also wanted to work with the mindset stuff. So we had this conversation one day about, you know, the horrible things that we say to ourselves. So we wrote this blog. It was very short, you know, it's 300 words, but it had a really nice tone to it. So I approached this online publication, This Woman Can, and I went, look, we wrote this and we think that it's, you know, there's value in sharing this with a wider audience. So this was a few months after it had appeared on the blog. So we still kept it in first person, but we just changed it more into an article style instead of a little bit like a mindset manifesto. And, you know, it appeared on the website and it got really great engagement. And we did that for a lot of this client's content, is that we shared it and repurposed it across many third-party sites. So if you've got 4 blogs, you can turn them into 4 articles. So remember, change the headline, change the introduction, you know, maybe change the voice from first person to third person, add some quotes in to make it a little bit more active, and then you've got another 4 pieces of content. So that's 29 pieces of content that you've got now. And when I say this in 4, I've done all of this in 4 hours. So I would take a client's 4 blogs, and I would spend an afternoon doing exactly what I'm saying here. Now, maybe I'm overselling the 4 hours a little bit because this is something that I do, but I think that as you build this up and this becomes second nature to it, you can do that as well. The next one is to turn your blog into video, moving pictures. Video is very powerful. It's far easier so I can be sitting here working away and listening to someone's video or someone's webinar or Facebook Live, and I don't have to stop and read. I can still be taking that information in. So if you can turn your content, your blog into a video, there's some really cool tools that you can do that with. So this is an article that I wrote ages ago. I thought it was a good one, from SourceBottle. So I write a few pieces for them on occasion, and it was a really good one explaining something that I talk about a lot, but I thought, I don't think people actually understand it. I need to create a resource that will make it far easier for them. So I took this, and using a tool called Lumen 5, is this video going to work? I did this. There you go. You don't need to see me grooving on much more. But Lumen 5, so I'm going to put that in there, Lumen 5. It is a subscription service. I'm not sure how much it is. I just paid the whole year. I actually found a cool deal on AppSumo where I think I got a whole year for like $49. And what it does is that you can either put the link of your blog into the tool, or you can cut and paste, and it automatically assigns tiles to each of those. It just pulls out keywords. Obviously, you don't want to have, you know, like an essay in there, but pull out those keywords. You could go and find images and videos and royalty-free music, which you're allowed to use, and a lawyer's not going to come after you with a big stick. Put your branding in there, and then you've got yourself a 30-second or a 60-second or a 3-minute or whatever. It is such an easy, Janice said, such an easy tool to use. It is paint by numbers. It is so hard to stuff up. My beautiful friend Mary, who's tech challenged, I think she'd even find that easy. But if you've got 4 blogs, you can create 4 videos per blog, because there's no way one whole blog will go into a video. You could probably even turn it from 5 videos out of one blog and have these really quick 30 seconds. You could even record yourself talking the blog through and upload that to Lumen 5 and use that, because, you know, people do business with people. They want to see you, they want to hear you. So also factor that in. Or another way that you could use video is get your phone, get a nice background, and present your information in a series of videos or a series of Facebook Lives. If you do the videos, you can upload them to YouTube. There's another platform you can tap into, and put it on your website, linking it to the blog or putting the blog underneath. So Liz said, so would you use the same 4 blogs to do all 41 pieces? Yes, absolutely. I don't have many blogs, so just wondering if repeat pieces will be okay, or will people get bored or put off? Oh, that's a great question. I think the thing is, when we're creating our own content and we're looking at it all the time, or we're labouring over it, and then we're posting, we think that people are going to get sick of us. Maybe the people who follow you on a regular basis are like, fuck, she's already said that. But the thing is that all the people on social media are not going to see you all the time. And you're going to have to repeat yourself so that you're getting in front of different segments of your target audience at different times. So think about the reason why advertising is so powerful and can be so successful. Not if you just pay for a one-off piece, but if you commit to a month's worth of advertising, the algorithms have a huge impact, Jenna said, is that you're going to be in people's faces repetitiously over and over and over. People need to see these messages, pardon me, over and over and over again before they get to the point where, one, they're ready to buy. They might see your post about money today and go, oh, that was really interesting, but they're not ready to buy. It was just they found it interesting. But they might see it tomorrow and go, oh, okay, I read that, but hey, actually I didn't get out of it today what I did yesterday. I've learnt something new. And then you post it the next day, and then the next day, and the next day, and you keep popping up everywhere. So if you think of content and PR, because I relate this all back to PR because that's what I do. If you relate it back to PR, you're dropping breadcrumbs across multiple platforms. So people are going and picking up pieces of you everywhere that they go. You know, they go searching for your topic. Oh, there you pop up on the first page of Google because you've optimized your website and you've written articles for third-party publications. Or they go into a Facebook group and they search your topic, and there you pop up because you've been sharing blogs, you've been sharing videos, you've been answering people's questions. And subconsciously, they start building this relationship with you. You may not even realize that they like you and they feel like they know you until the time comes that they're ready to buy, and you have consistently and persistently been there sharing content. Then the answer is no, they're not going to be bored or put off, because not everybody's ready to buy now and not everybody's ready to engage with you. You have to keep showing up for them to be able to do that for when they're ready. I hope that answers that question. Persistency is the key. So we're up to 3 videos per blog. From your 4 blogs, we've now got 41 pieces of content. And now I feel like, what was this steak knife dude? But wait, there's more. He was great. I used to love his enthusiasm. So you can keep going. So you can take a topic and you can turn it into a webinar. This is where this webinar came from, is that, I was doing this stuff over and over for clients, and they were going, wow, this is amazing. Look how much content you're creating for me. And I've gone, oh, well, if they think this is amazing, maybe other people will too. Maybe I should share this. You can post on third-party sites like Medium. You can go sign up for that. I'm pretty sure it's free. I know mine's free, but you can pay to push your content out further. But you can post your content into Medium, repurpose it. Medium's like a massive base of knowledge and information and stories and articles. People use Medium as a platform to publish their own magazines. So talk about, casting a wide net. You can post it into LinkedIn, on LinkedIn Pulse as an article, or even as social media tiles. There's a lot of free media release publication sites. So you could turn your blog into a media release and pitch it out over what we call the wire services. So these things, platforms like PRWire, take your piece and they send it into the inboxes of journalists wherever it is that you are. You can share into Facebook groups. So out of that, you're looking at maybe another 16 to 20 pieces of content. So If we add, that's 87 pieces of content. That's 3 months worth of content that you can create from 4 blogs. I reckon that's pretty cool. I'm very excited. Thank you, Liz. I'm glad that that made sense. It's interesting when you work in PR. Like, I come from corporate PR, and when I first started, a lot of people thought that PR, so 7 years ago, was something that big businesses do, or was really expensive, or you couldn't do yourself. And there's been some, pardon me, I don't have coronavirus. Some amazing women like Sue Papadoulis and Kate Engler and Tanya Target and women like them who trailblazed in the space of do-it-yourself PR, and they've helped a lot of people get a lot of exposure. And I think it's important to understand that PR is everything you say and everything that you do, and it's not a silver bullet, a magic bullet. It's not going to get you. Like, you may put a story, you may get a story on the news tomorrow, and a few people see you and go, oh, okay, I need that, and you hear from them. But there are those who are not ready to buy, that you need to keep popping all of this type of content up, leveraging the wins that you have, so that you're always appearing, that people are going like, oh, there she is, there she is, there. That's how I built my business. That's how Lauren built her business, because we just keep showing up, and we just keep giving, and we just keep sharing, and out of that comes people who go, I want to work with you. So if you can spend, even if it's just once a month, and you do even half of what I've said, you'll make your life so much easier. Now, you may have seen this around, here you go, I did save it. You can go and purchase, if you want. This is not a sales, but this is a really cool tool that Lauren created. So, I use mine all the time, coming up with ideas and writing notes. And it's called the Most Audacious Marketing Action Planner. And in it, like this section at the beginning of the month, you can sit there and go, okay, what are the opportunities, celebrity birthdays, what are the things that people have been saying to me? And you can plan out what topics and what content you're going to put out for that week, to keep track of what you're doing and how you're going. There is free training on how to use it. You can get it online at our websites. It's like $9, and go to our YouTube channel, and Lauren's done an amazing training session on how to get the most out of it. So these are some of the tools that I use to make repurposing easier. Lumen 5, as I discussed, Canva, CoSchedule, which is a really cool place to go and schedule, but they also have a tool on there on coming up with headlines, which, sometimes you're sitting there going, what am I going to call this? So you can pop your keywords in there and it'll give you a suggested headline. Ripple is another one that's a video-based, really short video that you can use to grab people's attention. Missing Letter is you can link one social media account to it, and what it'll do is you'll link your website, it'll go find the blogs that you've got there, and it'll automatically come up with content that you can then schedule and push out. I use it for Twitter. So it'll go find my blog, come up with, like my 140 characters, and push it out through Twitter. So I've got engagement there. So they're ones that I use. They make your life so much easier. So all that's left for you to do now is to go and do it. Do some work. So if you need help, if you need it, we're here. That's our email address. That goes to both Lauren and I. Lauren's got her set of skills. She's an incredible brand strategist. She's also really good at coming up with ideas for content creation, brand storytelling. She's, I think we're a really good pair, yin and yang. But I'd like to open it up to any questions if you'd like to ask away. Well, we've got a few minutes left. Do I need to unmute you? Or you can unmute yourselves.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Cool. So how many hours do you think we should set aside to, like, I think you said you do about 4 hours with content once it's done. So what do you suggest? Like, do we do 4 hours a week or 4 hours like?
If you're working, like if you start with one blog a week, then you could probably put aside, I'd start with a couple of hours to repurpose, because as you're feeling your way and you know, making sure that it looks right and it feels right, you know, and whenever you start something new, it does take you a little bit longer to get into the swing of things. But once you get used to looking at your content critically and going, okay, that's the most important part, that's the most important part, then give yourself a couple of hours a week, and breaking it down into one blog a week certainly makes it a lot easier for those who may not want to sit there for 4 hours. Like, I can sit there for 4 hours and then go, oh, my bum hurts, I probably should have got up and moved. But I get so engrossed in what I'm doing that I forget to move. So, yeah, and if you have any problems or challenges with this, just let me know and we can hop on Zoom and I can like go, okay, this is what you could do. So I'm more than happy to do that, because I think that the more we're putting out now and staying front of mind, the easier it'll be for us to recover when we get out the other end, because people go, oh my God, Laura just kept showing up and she gave such great information and, you know, I loved her insights. Yeah, all those things that go on in our head that we don't realise we're thinking about the person that's giving us the information, but that's what we're thinking about. You know, I know when I see stuff, it's like, I do talk to myself, so it does come out loud. It's like, wow, that's so cool. I actually learn a lot from that. I'm going to go and do that. You know, I sit with a notebook beside me and I'm constantly scribbling and going back each week and going, oh, what haven't I done? I need to do that. I don't want to look at my budget. That's really sad right now. So it's kind of like I'm going to be in denial.
Cool.
Any other questions? Look, we pretty much all know each other here in the Zoom session today. So we're friends on Facebook. If we're not, we're in the same groups, and my offer is there. Reach out, ask. Sometimes just having someone else to go, oh, why am I stuck? What can you see? You know, like I talked to a lady this morning and I just said one thing and she was like, I saw it on her face, and she went, oh, okay, I get it. And I'm like, okay, that's a cool feeling. Like I'm not a business consultant. I'm not I'm not a coach. I'm a PR person. I'm a writer. But, you know, when you have fresh eyes looking at stuff that you're doing, sometimes it's easier to make your way through, because it's like, oh, I've said things to people, I've gone, I didn't even think of that. And I'm like, really? Like, that's the first thing that I thought of. So having that is very handy. Thank you all so much for coming at the delayed time, but we made it. So I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll see you all online. I'll probably do another webinar next week. I'm just going through all of the stuff I've created over the years, and I'll just see what people are talking about and do another one, and we'll keep going.
Can we link this to my followers if they share this information? Like, how do you can record it so I can share it with my bossy people?
I've recorded it and we'll put it up on our YouTube channel, so it'll just be open to everyone, and I'll send you the link as soon as we've done that.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. You're awesome. Bye-bye.